We're back here at the Mello Center for Syracuse men's basketball preview show. Rolling along here, and we're now joined by Syracuse head coach Jim Boeheim. Coach, last year at this time, you sat there and you said that team was more ready for the season than any team you could remember. Some people questioned it at the time, but you guys end up in Atlanta. What's the feeling with this year's team?
I think it's a good team. I think they're ready. I think we've got a good mix of veterans and young players. We've got good size. I think our front line is maybe arguably as good as it's ever been in terms of depth and guys, skill positions, guys that can do things. So yeah, I think we're in a good position.
I'm going to list off a bunch of things I know you already know, but it's for those people out there. Last year's #1 pick in the draft was Canadian. The #1 recruit in the country this year, Canadian. Your point guard that you have this year, Canadian. Was that kind of factor into the reason for you guys going to Canada over the summer?
No, it was a good opportunity. It was close, and we knew we'd get a couple good games up there. We didn't need a lot. We just wanted a few, and it was a really easy trip. And Europe, where you usually go, started later, so you wouldn't have gotten any good competition. So it was really much better to go to Canada.
Well, speaking of the recruiting and things like that, you got a crop of players coming in this year. What do you expect from these guys this year, being so young but being so many of them?
Well, we think that the freshmen can help us. Obviously, veteran guys are key to this team, but certainly, particularly at the point with Tyler, Tyler's going to have to step in and play right away. But I think our freshmen are good. I think they're really talented kids, and I think they can contribute as freshmen.
You've mentioned that there's not a huge change for you guys going to the ACC because it's a competitive conference to a competitive conference, and you've joked around the biggest difference being the food and things you have to try there. But seriously, what's the biggest difference to you changing leagues? It's a tough conference. I don't see a big difference. I mean, obviously you're playing teams that you haven't seen, so you don't know them that well, but on the other hand, they don't know us that well. So I think that kind of balances out. But it's new and it's exciting. But it's definitely different. You're not going to the same places, the same venues. But there's some familiarity. We've obviously played some of these teams. We're in our league and some were in last year. So we're going to have more familiarity than we would have had a few years ago. Trevor Cooney is an interesting player because he faced maybe more criticism than a player like he should have going into after last year. What are you kind of expecting from him this year?
Well, I think last year he was really, we had two veteran guys. We had a senior guard in his position. He wasn't going to play a lot. And when he did play, I thought he did some really good things. And I think he's gained some confidence from that. He's, I think, improved. I think he's more consistent this year. And I think he's really worked his way into the position where he's ready to play a lot.
Any thoughts on Baimu Cicada's impression of you at Media Day?
I didn't. I saw a little bit of it. It was okay. Not bad for Bai. Not bad.
Do you have an impression of him?
No, I did a little one, but it was, Bai's a great kid. He's worked hard and really improved every year as a player. He's the kind of player, as a coach, you're really proud of because he goes to work every day and he gets better. And that's really what you hope for.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Syracuse men's basketball show rolls on next.